Did your team examine the interior of Maura's car for blood, and or did you find any?
No. They wouldn't even let me look at the car.
Do you think that's abnormal?
Absolutely abnormal. I call myself a forensic scientist at this point in time, and certainly to the tail of my career. I've been court qualified as an expert in accident reconstruction and crime scene reconstruction. And to me, the disciplines are so much the same. I don't care if it's a car. I don't care if it's a hole in the ground. It makes no difference to me. It's a bunch of forensic evidence that I got to figure out what I'm going to take, how I'm going to, all that kind of stuff. So the car, you know, I certainly had intentions of doing blood studies in it, if any, you know, using crime lights and using other chemicals and stuff to look for blood. We were able to get some photographs, and there's a number of people that have said, I think even the state police once even said that she hit the snowbank. Mm-hmm. No. Emphatically, no. And other people have talked about her hitting the tree. Yeah. No. Yeah. Emphatically, no. She didn't hit the tree, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, the tree makes a nice oval-shaped dent in your car. The damage that she has is, some of it's what's called induced damage, but where the first point of contact is what's called an override. Somebody either backed up into her above her bumper with a higher bumper and pushed it in, because you can see a nice clear impression right there. And that energy gets dissipated throughout the car in terms of crumble damage. I think she had a crack in her windshield on that side. That's all the kind of stuff you expect from an override accident. She did not hit a tree, snowbank. That was a joke. I can't even believe they said that. I think because they don't know. Where it happened, don't know. Did it happen recently? Don't know, because I wasn't able to look at the damage and make a determination, is this really fresh or is it got some rust or it's over. Again, pictures are nice to look at. Mm-hmm. I need to look at the damage. I need to measure it, analyze it. I mean, everything with me is physics, geometry, algebra, and they're actually very simple math equations, and put things together like speed. Can you figure out the object? You know, what speed would have caused that impact? And we tried and tried, and they would not let me look at the vehicle.
So you've never...
I've never seen the vehicle live. I would love to see the vehicle live and make some determinations.
So at that point, who was it not allowing you to see the vehicle? Was
State police.
Okay.
Yeah, wherever they had stored it, and I suspect they probably stored it actually in Concord.
It's in Concord now.
Yeah, that's where I always look at their cars. You go to their headquarters there, and they have a junkyard in the back. I've looked at 30, 40, 50 cars there. But this one, no, not letting you. I said, I don't care if you videotape me. You know, just watch everything I do. And nope, okay, all right.
I don't want to ask you to speculate too much, but is there any reason that you can think of why that might be the case? Like, if they think that could potentially be like the crime scene?
Well, it's certainly part of the crime scene. Whatever involvement it has, I don't know. And I would be highly speculative in saying they don't either. Could another car have been involved? Absolutely. Could another car forced her off the road? You could probably set up a scenario with two cars where Maura's behind and the other car jammed on its brakes, something like that. But again, you clearly have an override. So one way to try to find out what the other car was would be to measure that override ground up, you know, the width of it, the height of it, the indentation depth, and see if you can find a car bumper that fits that. It could easily be a stationary object that she hit, and I did measure bus bumpers and stuff like that.
When I interviewed Fred, one of the things that he mentioned was that I should talk to someone named Terry O'Connell. He did a lot of work on a different case in New Hampshire.
What was the name of the case that Terry worked on?
Patrick McCarthy. He was a little boy from Cape Cod, from Bourne, that disappeared in Lincoln in October of 2003. Terry O'Connell did a lot to help the family in that case. It was also a Troop F case. And so I had heard about him through that. I didn't actually know that he did anything with Maura's case until Fred told me.
That was kind of his baby.
Yes, yeah, he put a lot of time and a lot of effort into that case.
And a lot of the same people that were involved in Maura's case, as far as I think Jeff Strislin and Chuck West, are all people that he was familiar with because he had worked on this Patrick McCarthy case.
Yeah, all the same players almost.
Yeah.
So Terry was a police officer on the Cape, I believe from Sandwich, and now he's a criminal attorney. He went to law school and now he's an attorney. So he has the law enforcement background.
And I think he became a private eye as well, didn't he?
Yeah, yep, so he does private investigations also.
I think that the backstory on Terry is important because I was actually under the impression that Terry was the one that had done the accident investigation at first. I don't know why I thought that.
Well, I think I've said it. I think whenever I've referred to the black box being looked at, I say Terry O'Connell's report.
I gotcha.
But that's not exactly accurate. He outsourced it to experts that do this for a living.
Right. Particularly in this analysis, they talk about 4 different possible options on what cracked the windshield. But they did denote one thing that was very important, and that is that it was broken from inside out. It was not broken from outside in. So there wasn't like a branch or low-hanging branch or anything like that that broke the windshield. So, I mean, what did you think of the 4 different theories?
So it seems to me like 2 of them were more possible or probable than the other 2, but he was sort of being thorough. So the first one was that the airbag caused the damage. And I think that's a theory that's been out there for a while. It seems to be consistent with a lot of other windshield cracks that are caused by airbags. So it sort of makes sense.
Well, and actually the accident scene investigator that I took the photos to and showed, the first thing he says, he's like 100% that's an airbag. Mm-hmm. That was his determination.
I've seen the car before, and I've had thoughts about, well, it's interesting. You see the clear dent in the hood on the right side. I'm sorry, on the left side if you're in the car. But what's interesting is, like, the headlights are all screwed up, but they're not damaged in any way. There's, like, no damage to the headlights whatsoever. They're not cracked, certainly not shattered.
Well, I think that one myth that I hear a lot is that there was no right front damage to the car. That's not true. If you look at the pictures, you can see the fenders buckled on both sides. You can see the hood is bent on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's an impact on the left side, but also it looks like the front of the car was really, from the bumper, was pushed inward, and that caused the buckling on the fender on the right side, and the hood to kind of buckle up as well.
And I think there's buckling on both fenders, the right and left fender. Yeah. So everybody focuses on that dent in the left front corner. And I understand why, because it's very prominent, like that sticks out. And in a lot of the photos that were floating around online, those photos kind of like highlight that. Like they're not really showing you like a full picture of all of the damage of the car. And so, like in a lot of the photos, like when I went back and was reviewing them, it's just obvious that there's a lot more damage other than just the dent in the hood on the left side.
It appeared as though there was a brownish red liquid on the interior roof, and it sprayed the area forward and above the driver's position, going from left to right. So like from the driver's side to the passenger side was the spray pattern. And the further toward the passenger side you went, the more it thinned out. So suggesting that it went in that direction. And then there was also on the driver's side door, there was a downward spray, as if somebody sort of poured, or the bottle was poured almost upside down.
So this is a very hard thing, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to envision how the accident happened, the airbag going off, potentially the Coke bottle with liquid in it being thrown inside the vehicle as the vehicle's moving. And so I think when you try to, in a logical way, try to deduce how did these spray patterns happen, I think it's very, very difficult. And I think that it's one of those things that unless you actually see it happen in real time, I think it's very hard to ever put it together. And I think you could probably come up with 100 different theories on how this actually happened.